chasing the rabbit so you don't have to. Here they are, Mark and Don, the two crazy guys.
Alrighty, welcome to another broadcast excellence episode of The Two Crazy Guys. My name is Donald Lowry, aka Big D, and on the other side of the hornet's nest over here is Mark Boyle, aka Prepper Guy. Hey, wild man, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty dang good today. I just got to spend a bunch of money on my new edition, so
ain't that great?
You know, with money comes the work to install all the stuff I just bought.
Hey, listen, welcome aboard to all you folks up there in Delta, Utah, listening to us on KYAH 540 AM, Utah's Talk Authority. Hope you all had a great Dad's Day yesterday.
Yep.
Nope, that would have been last week. Where am I at today, Mark?
I don't know. We recording early and I missed it.
Hey, anyway, some things that we can talk about today. Number one, so you know, Fox News is, as you know, in the ditch with the rest of the media as of late.
Right.
And they have a news poll, a shock poll. Bernie leads Trump by 9%, by 9. Wait. Bernie Sanders is ahead of Trump.
Yeah, I find that hard to believe.
Well, you know, man, so here's what I don't understand. I don't see Bernie's supporters 40 hours in advance lining up to get in to go see Bernie Sanders like we do with Trump.
No, you know, I was listening to I think it was Andrew Wilkow. He had some guys on there today and was talking about, you know, the demographics they're using is from the Obama type polling. And they seem to forget about the Trump effect and stuff. So they're really looking through an outdated old prism that really doesn't relate to today's voters at all.
Well, remember, these are the same polls that told us that Hillary stood a 100% chance of winning the election.
Yeah, you can't put any faith in them because it's, first of all, it's way too far out.
Yeah.
You know, to even consider it, but it's fun. You know, it's like playing Monopoly, I guess. When I get over there, I'll buy that, you know, or something. But
well,
they don't look at real voters. They're just polling, I don't know, I guess Democrats that voted in the last election for Obama.
How come no one ever asks me these questions?
Because they don't want them answers. Hey, Don, who are you going to vote for? Trump. Go, okay, click. You know, they just hang up
40 hours before the Orlando rally, Trump supporters, more than 40 hours,
right.
People started lining up for this announcement, for Donald Trump's announcement that he's going to be president. That was a big story last week as well. But yeah, it looks like more than 100,000 ticket requests were requested for that event. Now, wait a minute. Now you're going to tell me that Bernie Sanders, who can't even bring 20 people to a rally, is leading Donald Trump in the polls.
Well, you know, 2 years ago when he was running, he had pretty good crowds, nothing like Trump. But, you know, it's funny when you think about the liberal, whiny, crazy people in the music industry, except Kanye West, who seems to, you know, actually like Trump, they would kill to have people waiting in line for one of their crappy concerts for 40 hours and have 100,000 guaranteed ticket sales. And he's just the president, a politician.
And yet 100,000 ticket requests, and yet Bernie Sanders is going to beat him. Oh my goodness. What the heck are they trying to tell? You know what it is? What they're trying to do, see, I guess they didn't learn from the last time they tried this garbage. The whole thing is to suppress the vote. You see, oh, well, you know, there ain't no reason to even go out and vote. He's not going to win.
Right.
You know, that's what it's all about. They tried that garbage. Look, here's what happened when Barack Obama won his president, was the Grassroots America. They said, we're not voting for Mitt Romney. And they said, we're not voting for John McCain. And they stayed home. And that's how Barack Obama won. Right. But when crooked Hillary decided to stick her hat in or her hand in the cookie jar, I should say.
Rich's hat.
Yeah.
Or
Grassroots America said, no way. It's not happening. And they turned out in droves to vote for Donald Trump.
Oh, yeah. And Donald Trump had, he had momentum. He had a message. Obama brought a lot of new people to the election. And
he brought a bunch of criminals is what he brought.
Yeah, but he had that, I don't know. People liked him. It was the first. He had a lot going for him on a marketing sense, and he used it. Trump had a ton going for him. Hillary had nothing. You have to look at politics sometimes, especially presidential elections, is, it's charisma, it's message, it's momentum, it's so many things. You just can't sit there and go, well, look at my record. Well, Hillary can't say that at all because she has no record. But, there's more to an election than just polling and where you stand on this abstract issue that no one cares about.
Right.
You got to actually, there's a reason why Coke and Pepsi battle it out, because they taste better than all that other garbage out there. And they're all made with water, sugar, and corn syrup and flavoring and caramel and bubbles. So that you have to bring a little bit more than just say, oh, hey, I'm running for president, vote for me. And so Trump had that. Hillary did not.
So I'm looking at this, this poll, and it shows President Donald Trump trailing former Vice President Joe Biden, and no fewer, now there's the key, no fewer than 4 other Democrat contenders.
Right.
So the message here is Donald Trump is way, way in the rear.
Yeah.
And no fewer than 4. In other words, at least 4 Democrats are beating him.
So I guess their message is Trump should just stay home because he's not going to win.
Biden's leading Trump by 49%. Bernie Sanders, almost 49%. It just, then you've got a 3-point margin of error on the poll. Those ahead were Senators Elizabeth Warren, Kamala Harris, as well as Mayor Pete Buttigieg. Wait a minute. I thought Kamala Harris was at 2%.
Well, I guess not who they ask. Now, I don't know how they communicate with people on Mars, but I just don't. None of those numbers mathematically make
Well, now I'm going to have
sense.
to, Mark, this has got my curiosity sparked because my last program on the Underground Talk Show, I talked about, the standings and the points where the Democrat contenders stand. And, most of them are all at 2 or 3 or 4%. And they're saying that those are going to beat a man that's got over 100,000 people. And that's just what's going inside. That's not to mention the ones outside.
Right.
Come on.
I guess if they compared Trump against the mayor of New York, the mayor would be ahead by 60 points, even though he doesn't even register in the polls.
This is, this is a tactic, people, that the liberal media is trying to use. And it backfired on them so badly last time. It backfired on them so bad. And now they haven't learned their lesson. They're going to pull the same crap.
Right.
And we're talking about people, man, that Joe Biden couldn't bring 200 people into a campaign event.
Right. Well, I have to ask, not just you, but our listeners, what is the master plan here? Because anyone knows that these numbers are just wrong. We knew it when we elected, Donald Trump the first time. So is it the media just running riot with nothing else to say? And they think that, do they really think that we are that stupid? Or are they just, what's their motivation for just a trial balloon that has no air?
I don't know, man.
I don't get it. It's like nobody in their right mind could look at these numbers and go, oh man, Trump, he better stay home. He's going to look really bad when he loses it by that much to Elizabeth Warren.
Pocahontas.
It's so not going to happen. So Trump will win unless, I don't know, really. I mean, he could probably shoot Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden in front of Capitol, and I'd still vote for him. In fact, I'd probably rise from the dead and vote for him twice. So I guess it really is just smoke and mirrors. It's the worst form of misdirection because they think no one's even watching.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Is it like the static when the TV, remember when we were kids and you didn't have 200 channels with nothing on? At 1:00, they'd play the national anthem, and then there was just static.
It was off, yeah.
And is that who they're talking to? The static, the ether? No one believes that thing they're saying.
Well, I mean, come on. To try and pull the wool over people's eyes that are paying attention and watching, and telling them that a person that is pulling 2%, 2%.
Yeah, too.
As a contender for the Democratic Party is going to take Trump out? Really?
I mean, if it was just 2% of the Democratic Party, let's say it's 50-50, that's 150 million. Is that even like a small classroom of kids? 2%? What is 2% of 100 million?
I don't know.
10, and then down to 1. So bad.
Yeah.
I mean, you're looking at maybe 500,000 people.
Yeah, maybe.
And that's, I think, pushing it.
That's
to say some of these have 2%, I think is laughable in itself.
Yeah.
But hey, who are we? Just two crazy guys getting ready to go to break,
I saw that.
I guess.
Yeah, we are getting ready to go to a break. In fact, right now it's about the time we need to take a break. So we'll come back and talk some more nonsense to you right after this. Don't go away.
Hi, this is John Jeffers, inviting you to listen to my show, The Jeffers Brief. On The Jeffers Brief, we discuss topics of interest and concerns for preppers and patriots. You can only find us on the Contra Radio Network on podbean.com or KYAH 540 AM, Utah's Talk Authority. Hope you join me, and we'll talk to you then.
This is Contra Radio Network, internet radio for the discerning prepper and patriot.
So are you tired of being tired? Well, then it's time to get the tea. Hey, it's Lisa here to tell you about this all-natural, all-organic tea I've been drinking that has had great results for over 20 years. It's called Life Change Tea, and it's specially formulated to help detoxify and cleanse your kidneys, liver, colon, and blood all at once. The colon is one of the most ignored organs in the human body. The faster that waste is eliminated from the body, the less time that waste sits in our intestines, spreading toxins toxins to our bloodstream. This tea helps cleanse chemicals caused by outside intruders from our entire digestive system. And get this, weight loss can be a side effect. And with continued use of the tea, you can experience clearer, healthier, younger-looking skin, increased energy, and a happier outlook on life. So if you're tired of being tired, get the Life Change Tea at getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. And like me, you'll be glad you did.
Talking the issues and taking the hit. Here they are, the two crazy guys.
Okay, welcome back. So before the break, we were talking about how the media is wanting us to believe that an individual that's pulling 2% in the polls for the Democratic nomination for president is somehow or another going to take Donald Trump out. And he's got a campaign event that brought in over 100,000 people.
Yeah.
Mark, this is unreal.
Well, I guess I would have to do, get my math hat on, because 2% of the voting Democrats isn't that many. But Trump is at 45% to 85% of the Republicans, which even if you just took Democrats, Republicans, Trump is still ahead by hundreds and hundreds of thousands of actual voters that vote Republican.
Right.
Not to mention all the people that are going to get tired of, the independents and all that, and they're just going to go, the economy's good, I'm voting for Trump. So they're obviously not looking at the numbers, which is why you don't, listen to polls anyway, because, we could poll that we're the most successful talk show on radio.
Hey, we got a 50% approval rating.
Yeah. I guess.
Well, I mean, you approve and I approve. That's 50%.
Right. Well, what kind of gets me is, we were talking a little bit, in the green room off on break. If you listen to their words at face value, the Republicans, the socialists, the media, and you boil that down to what they think of the average American, that we're stupid enough to believe things that aren't real, that aren't math, that aren't science, that aren't economics.
Right.
They must think we are the stupidest Neanderthals on the planet.
Well, look who's leading them.
And so, yeah. And so, don't believe me or Don here. It's just like, look at what they're saying. They're saying, hey, stupid, Trump's going to lose to Pocahontas. and what sane thinking American on either party would sit there and go, yeah, unless you were like one of those, slobbering dogs in a cartoon, you're just going to look at it and go, yeah, right, pal.
Foghorn Leghorn.
Right. So there's this huge hawk that just landed in my tree.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that dude is big. My dog's right here. He's safe.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, you got to, all right, so first of all, you've got to consider, this goes back to what I always say, our education system.
Yeah.
Okay? They have dumbed America down to the point where they can't even think for themselves. And they're stupid enough to say, geez, this lady, like, she's pulling 2% in the Democrat polls, but she's going to beat a man that's polling at 48, 50%.
Right. In all polls, even in his approval rating.
It's unbelievable that they would even expect us to believe that.
Yeah. And
what's sad? There are those that do.
I don't know. You remember the expression pulling the wool over people's eyes. Yeah. That is exactly what it is. They think they're really fooling us and they're not. But, it, like you said, it goes to, our education. And when you really think about the education system in America, it's government education. It's not a system. It's not the PTA. We pay our taxes and they tell us what they're going to teach and where they're going to go to school. The same thing with everything. You know, we give them all of our money. They're going to tell us what doctors to use, and who to go see and whether they're going to treat you or not.
Right.
It's tyranny. And in the school system, you can see what they've taught our children. You know, and that's government education. It's damn near an re-education camp.
Yeah.
We're gonna take all your kids. Thank you for all the money, by the way, and now we're going to indoctrinate them to not be able to do critical thinking, not be able to make a decision, not be able to use common sense, and then a few generations down the line, here we are.
Yeah.
You know.
No, that's exactly right.
You know, so I mean, I'm all for standing. I hate the Board of Education. I hate the Department of Education. Never educated anybody.
Right.
You know, and I used to take heat all the time. People go, "What do you got against education?" It's like, I have nothing against learning.
Right.
I just don't like government regulated institutions of learning that we must send our children to.
Exactly.
You know,
and become indoctrinated to what they want you to learn.
Right. And then does the schools teach, you know, because I guess the free markets are really bad at teaching free market principles, you know, but the socialists, you know, they've had all this time in the schools to teach how great socialism is. So now it's become the narrative that if you become successful, it's because you're white and white privilege.
Right.
If you're a person of color that becomes successful, it was because the government and all their programs helped you.
Right.
And we've bought into the narrative, you know, that because of, once again, the education system, you know, I guess we need to question that.
So you're a businessman. You've got a business. It's pretty successful, right? You'd say it's well, you didn't build that.
I know.
Obama did.
Well, if you ask my wife, she did, but you're right. You know, that was Obama. You didn't build that. It's like, coma, what?
Yeah.
You know, but people do expect to believe things like that because the socialists have forever really sold the program as great and wonderful.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, free marketers are out there just making money and paying the bills and being philanthropists and, you know, helping people and not paying attention of what's being taught in the schools about the free market system.
Right.
So
that's exactly right.
Here we are. So yes, I think they do think we're that stupid.
Oh, I know they do. Otherwise, they wouldn't be telling us this bull crap.
Right. Because, you know, it's like, I mean.
Come on, Mark. Let me ask you this. Person to person. If you really didn't think that I was stupid enough to believe you when you told me that somebody that was polling 2% is going to take somebody that's polling out 48, 50%, you wouldn't try to convince me of that. Now, would you? Unless you thought that I believed it, that I would believe it.
Right. And didn't think you'd probably run me over for thinking you were that stupid. I mean, I mean, if you listen to how you've listened to people on the phone, you know, in your office and stuff like that, you can almost tell who they're talking to by the tone of voice.
Sure.
Just like people will talk baby talk to their kids.
Or their animals.
Yeah. This is what they're doing to us. They're talking baby talk to us.
Yeah, exactly.
And we can hear it. And we're like, not your baby, not buying into it.
Right.
Not going to vote for Pocahontas or the socialist or the dirty old man, no matter how much you tell me I should. And I guess, you know, that's a good way to see what they think of you and I.
Right.
And it's not just as Republicans or libertarians. It's just everyone. Everyone's watching the news.
Right.
You know, you watch CNN, which I'd really rather dry heave.
The Communist News Network.
Yeah. They're talking to them like they're stupid too.
Yeah. But they believe them.
A lot of
CNN viewers actually believe the crap that they're being fed from that organization.
right. Yeah.
Because they're not
You
smart enough. They're not smart enough to wake up and see the reality. CNN has been known to take fake news stories, known fake news stories, made up, falsified news stories, and run with them as if they're actual factual media. Look what they did with, what was her name? Omarosa. She had, I've got recorded audio of Donald Trump using the N-word. Let me see. To this day, I have yet to hear that audio. You know why? Because it doesn't exist.
No,
But
'cause-
Trump is a racist now because he used the N-word.
right. Now, if that would have been flipped around and it was about Hillary, what's her name, would have been dead by now.
Yeah.
But Trump's the bad guy.
Yeah.
See, it's weird how they take what is right and make it wrong. What they take, is good and make it bad. It's just amazing. And people watch CNN. I mean, if you're at the airport or at a bank or anywhere where the TV is on, is CNN. I mean, CNN gets most of its money from being in airports and terminals and stuff like that. So you're sitting there after a long trip and you're watching it and they're talking baby talk to you.
And you're going, oh, God, this guy again.
Right. So you have to have some faith in the American people and the American intellect and values and integrity, just like when Trump won the first time. But like you said, they haven't learned. It was just like, that was just a bad dream. Now we're awake and we're going to do it all over again.
Right. Exactly.
That was a trial run.
It just blows my mind, that, and there are so many people that believe that garbage.
Well, isn't that the definition of insanity? You do the same thing expecting different results.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess they're insane.
Yeah.
I
don't know.
Shit, I don't know.
I don't know, but it's crazy. And they keep spoon feeding this nonsense out there. It's just over and over and over and over regurgitation. But you know what I haven't heard? I'm shocked because in all last week, I didn't hear the word impeachment.
Oh, which red meat are they chasing now?
It's gotten quiet.
I guess it has. Yeah, I haven't heard the M word. I heard today on the news that somebody filed for impeachment papers. I guess I could do that. But yeah, it's become crickets coming from the impeachment crowd. So I guess they're in CYA mode.
I don't know.
Because Mueller and the Barr investigation into what Mueller's report and all that stuff must be starting to catch some traction because they have really shut up.
I haven't heard anything. It's gotten quiet. I haven't heard anything from, the Barr investigation. And I've been, for the last 3 weeks, I've been expecting data dumps. And I'm amazed because there has been nothing. It's just been quiet. I think this is the calm before the storm, dude.
Well, I can hardly wait because I love a good storm.
Hey, listen, we're gonna run to another break, and then we will be back at the bottom of the hour for the third segment of today's program. So stick around. Do not go away. We'll be back for more right after this.
Times are changing. The circus of politics, healthcare's low standards and high prices, and let's not forget food quality. What to do? Arm yourself with Life Change Tea at GetTheTea.com. In a world of chemical imbalance and poor air and water quality, it's time you make a move. Log on to GetTheTea.com and stock up on organic non-GMO supplements. Don't forget the tea. Cleansing your body never felt so good. And we have a brand new tea called Takedown Tea, which helps support healthy glucose. All natural body support so you can be at your best, naturally. All you have to do is log on to GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. We're not a fad that comes and goes. We are the real deal. Join us and armor up. getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. Changing America's health one tea bag at a time.
Black Metal Firearms are a couple guys I know personally and friends of mine that put together some great accessories for all your firearms needs. Everything that I've seen them do is just top-notch and very nice looking. BlackMetalFirearms.com. Check them out. I think you'll be glad you did. Go to Facebook, Black Metal Firearms. They got a great page there too. Learn more about the workmanship and the craftsmanship they put into every accessory and every build they do.
Talking the issues and taking the hit. Here they are, the two crazy guys.
Segment 3.
And welcome back to segment 3 from the bottom of the hour. You're listening to KYAH 540 AM, Utah's Talk Authority. It's Mark and Don, the two crazy guys, and we are definitely crazy because we don't know what we're talking about, do we, Mark?
Well, I think we know what we're talking about when we're talking about things. We just don't know what we're going to talk about sometimes. How about that?
Well, you know, it's just funny how the media just wants us to think that we're sheep, man.
I guess so. And I think when I read one statistic that 48% of Americans, and I don't know where this poll came from either, think that socialism is a viable option.
Yeah.
So either we really have slid, off of a abyss when it comes to reason, or that's just another one of those stupid polls that don't mean nothing.
Yeah. I don't know, man, because I don't seem to ever get asked any of these questions. So
yeah,
maybe I'm above the threshold of the individuals that they ask. I don't know, but I never get asked any of those questions.
I think what it is see, most people that have a life, when they get a robocall, they just hang up. But if you're one of those pathetic losers on the other side of the aisle, let's just say, I think they're dying for their phone to ring because they're in mom's basement.
Nobody calls them.
So they're like, I know it's a robocall, but I got to talk to them. They think robots are real. I don't know.
Sheep, man. I don't know. It's just, but so we know that there's no way in Hades. Look, man, here's what you really got to be on the lookout for. You don't have to be on the lookout for an honest election system coming up here next year. What you have to be on the lookout for is the cheating. Right. Because I'm going to tell you right now, the Democrats are going to use every trick in the book known to man in order to try and win this election.
Right.
And if you think they've cheated in the past, oh, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Right. Yeah, they will pull out more stops this time around. So I guess they, had hoped that this impeachment thing and the Mueller investigation and the Russia scare would get rid of Trump, and it hasn't worked. So they're going to have to go to plan B or C. Well, let's see, the Trump, Russia, then the Mueller investigation, now impeachment. So I guess it's plan D that they're going to go to. But don't think there's no bottom to the depravity. They will go to win this election and I don't know, flush America down the toilet. It's depressing.
Yeah. Because
I kind of like America. Do I like our government? Not one bit.
Right.
But I like America and the Constitution and the freedom and the liberties that we have to live and make choices and be free. And I guess there's a large contingent of people out there that do not want that.
Yeah, I don't. Well, the thing is, when you look at what they have put Donald Trump through every day since he's won the last election.
Oh, geez, yeah.
You ain't seen nothing yet, honey, because if they lose this next election, which they are going to.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my word. I mean, look, just be ready, people. Be ready, because there's going to be trickery and frickery going on everywhere.
What is a frickery?
I have no idea. It's a word I just made up.
It's like one of those words that you have to make up that rhymes with orange, because nothing rhymes with orange.
Yeah. So
Frickery. I
be
like
on
it
the
though.
lookout. They're going to be counting on voter suppression. You know, Facebook's going to be out there pulling its thing. Social media is going to be out there pulling its thing. All of them. Just be ready, people, because I assure you, it's already started.
Right.
You know, the nonsense. I mean, just look at the news stories. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure out what they're trying to spoon feed you, man.
Right. And you know, the saddest thing about all this media that we have is it's so one-sided, and like we've decided Fox is maybe we get 10%, 15% of Fox.
Yeah.
I hear the word democracy coming from all of them now.
Yeah.
And they're not stupid people. You know, Tucker Carlson is not a stupid individual.
No.
So I don't know why they're doing that, unless it's
I do.
in the editorial room.
No, they're doing it to try to make you think that that's the form of government that we have.
Right. And maybe they don't see the downside to it. They just think, I'm sure if you ask someone like Mark Levin, well, what's the difference between a republic and a democracy? He'd go, well, we're kind of a constitutional democracy because we vote, blah, 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 blah. But that
It's
only
a
happened
democratic
because
process.
it only happened when we started doing the 17th Amendment.
Right.
Because before that, I voted for my congressman.
Right.
And that might have been a majority kind of rule, but it was one vote every 2 years in the story.
Right.
But now that they want more and more popular vote, are they just too stupid to put two and two together and go, well, on a national scale, democracy does not work?
Well, I don't know why all right. So I do know, because it all leads to the one world power, the United Nations. It all leads down to one world government, one world power. And that's what they're trying to push for. That's why they want you to think democracy, democracy, democracy. And because it's easier to change. Socialism, okay? Socialism is a form of government where, first of all, it's never worked anywhere. Second of all, it's a form of government where you have a democracy that basically means rule by many of those who participate.
Right.
And so they want you to think that they all have the influence, and they make the rules and they make the regulations, and you know, they're the lawmakers, and so they can tell you what to do, when to do it, where to do it, how to do it. And if you're not doing it, then you better do it. And it is a democratic process, but it's not a democratic form of government. There's a difference.
Right. It's like when the founder said a Republican form of government.
Right.
It didn't mean a bunch of Republicans.
Right.
It just meant
rule. It literally means rule by balance. On one side you have tyranny, on the other side you have anarchy, and in the middle you have a republic.
Right. But they don't like it. Well, you know, and what the sad thing with, you know, our media and social media now, big social, you know, I call them, is you can't get news anywhere that's not skewed and biased. Yeah, there's, you know, One
America News Network.
One America News Network. That's I don't know why I have a hard time saying that.
There's a couple of them out there.
Yeah, that are pretty good.
WND, World Net Daily.
Yeah.
That's another.
So you turn to the internet to pick up, you know, actual facts. To where you can
Lord God knows Almighty that we can't put it on the internet if it ain't true.
Right. So you can't listen to guys like you and I unless it's on the internet or on a radio station or on YouTube.
One of the minor radio stations that, and I mean that by most of them won't have us on. And we're thankful to you folks up at KYAH. We're thankful to you up there, Mike, for letting us come on board because there's a silence out there to talk to silence the voice like us.
Right. And you know, you got Clear Channel and these big radio stations out there. They're controlled by big big business. They're in the pocket of big government. So when you turn to find any kind of clue, then you have big social going, you can't watch that, you can't listen to this, you can't watch these videos, you can't learn about gun safety on YouTube or nothing.
Right.
So really, I mean, it's you have to just look at it with common sense and go, I'm voting for Trump because, he's fighting the fight. He's standing when no one else will. And it's for 4 years. It's for 8 years. It's not the end of the world if he makes a few mistakes, but you can't get your information from anywhere.
Right.
The newspapers, the magazines, anywhere.
It's all garbage.
Yeah. And so I guess it's yo-yo time. You're on your own. That's one of them prepping terms, yo-yo time. Yeah. And you have to figure it out. But it's no different than nutrition or science or anything. You have to really do your own homework, and you have to use your brain for something that it was meant to be for. You can filter out BS. You can weigh the facts. You can look at the information you do get, even if 90% of it is a lie. If you're smart enough to go, that's all BS, I can see right through it.
Yeah.
Then what they're not telling me must be what I need to vote for, think about, or look into.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Yeah.
It's absolutely crazy. And there's just a big push to silence anything that's of conservative ilk. Anything. There's such a push to silence it so that they can be the only ones talking.
Right.
They tell you, remember Nancy Pelosi and all them said, we have to accept the Mueller report no matter what's in it. Then when the Mueller report came back and it didn't have what they wanted in it, we can't accept the Mueller report. We have to do a do-over.
Yeah, we need a mulligan.
If you post anything that is derogatory against Obama or anybody that's on the Democrat side, Facebook will violate you will put you in timeout for violation of their terms of agreement. But yet the Trump bashing stuff stays. Beep beep. The Trump bashing stuff stays, and nobody says anything. Nobody does anything. Nobody pulls it down, and you can't fight Facebook because it's their platform and they have the final say so. Right.
And YouTube, we kind of do, but
YouTube is the same way. I've already had some of my videos squashed on YouTube because, think about it. The conservative underground, that's a target of all targets, man.
Yeah. You're talking about underground, which is black market, and conservative, which is like ultra black market. You're just a horrible person, Don. So, you didn't even know that.
Yeah, I get censored here and there and all the time. Just look what they did to Alex Jones in InfoWars.
Yeah. Well, and
all
how
that
many
was telling the truth.
And how many companies? I mean, we just see what they're talking about, on the news. But they shut down his PayPal, credit card processing. So they're almost forcing you to create your own black market economy, and Patreon, which is a big thing for, small, creatives.
Yeah.
Now that you're too conservative, they'll cut you out your Patreon, which is voluntary. If I like what you have to say, I can become a patron and give you $5, $10, $100 a month, whatever.
Right.
They've decided, no, not today.
Hey, speaking $5, $10 a month, we're going to go and hear a word from our sponsors. We will be back shortly. Don't go away.
Black Metal Firearms are a couple guys I know personally and friends of mine that put together some great accessories for all your firearms needs. Everything that I've seen them do is just top-notch and very nice looking. blackmetalfirearms.com. Check them out. I think you'll be glad you did. Go to Facebook, Black Metal Firearms. They got a great page there too. Learn more about the workmanship and the craftsmanship they put into every accessory and every build they do.
So, are you tired of being tired? Well, then it's time to get the tea. Hey, it's Lisa here to tell you about this all-natural, all-organic tea I've been drinking that has had great results for over 20 years. It's called Life Change Tea, and it's specially formulated to help detoxify and cleanse your kidneys, liver, colon, and blood all at once. The colon is one of the most ignored organs in the human body. The faster that waste is eliminated from the body, the less time that waste sits in our intestines, spreading toxins to our bloodstream. This tea helps cleanse chemicals caused by outside intruders from our entire digestive system. And get this, weight loss can be a side effect. And with continued use of the tea, you can experience clearer, healthier, younger looking skin, increased energy, and a happier outlook on life. So if you're tired of being tired, get the Life Change Tea at getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. And like me, you'll be glad you did.
Talking the issues and taking the hit. Here they are, the two crazy guys.
And welcome back again to the final segment of today's program. We've been talking about a mixed match of stuff, such as how the media has been spoon feeding you the nonsense they want you to try to believe, such as that we are a democracy and that somebody that's pulling 2% is going to take somebody that's pulling 48%. You know, the nonsense of the silencing of talk radio and the silencing of the voice on the right, any voice on the right by the liberal left. But they're the ones that preach out of their mouth, we must love and accept and honor and cherish anyone, no matter what their belief is.
As long as it's not conservative.
As long as it's their belief and not your belief.
Right. Yeah, that's my way or the highway kind of mentality, which is the classic definition of tyranny.
You know, they want to promote. Oh man, they want to promote this. We talked about the gay pride thing this last week because that was that's what was going on. Last weekend was the big gay pride thing, and it's funny because you check out those events and you got guys walking around with strap-on dildos and assless chaps and men dressed up like prostitutes and sluts and whores and everything else. Guys walking around with chains and being drugged around in the streets and crap. And that's supposed to be a family event?
Right. But post a video on gun safety and you are a pariah.
It's funny because back in the 80s, Andrew Dice Clay.
Yeah.
Love him or hate him. And they hated him, most of them, because he was foul, but he spoke the truth.
Right.
He said it's crazy because, you can go to the bus stop, pardon the French here, and you can bob the baloney pony, but you can't smoke a stinking Marlboro.
Right. Yeah, you can. Yeah, it really is practically. I mean, I'm not going to say it's biblical, but when they've said, scriptures say, up will be down, left to be right, good will be evil, and you look at it and go, boy, it doesn't get any clearer than that. It's no longer an analogy or an allegory. It's actually happening. When they sit there and show gay pride in that disgusting of a way and say, this is who we are as a people. It's not how I am as a person.
It's not me.
It's not you. It's anybody I've met would watch that and go, why are those people doing that?
I mean,
they'll show that on the news.
And yet they want to be accepted. They demand that they have rights. What, rights to do that?
Right.
To walk around in the street with a strap-on dildo around your waist?
And
really?
And yet, that maybe they do have the rights, but they want to throw it in our face, and create a reaction. And then that's supposed to start a debate, which we've never had.
But remember, like you said, sorry to interrupt.
No.
But like you said, I mean, it's okay. Like the Democrats preach out of one side of their mouth. We must love and accept and cherish all of that, no matter what your belief is. But by God, don't be a patriotic American.
No.
Don't love this country. Don't fly the flag, because heaven forbid you offend somebody for flying the symbol of freedom, our national symbol of freedom. You can't do that, because heaven forbid if you say the name Jesus in public, because you might offend somebody.
Right. Yeah,
but I'm not supposed to be offended when I see a dude walk down the street with a strap on.
I guess not. We're just old fuddy-duddies.
Wow, man.
Well, you're not old, but I'm an old fuddy-duddy.
Well, I'm old. I'm there.
I've almost grown into the curmudgeon status.
I'm sorry, folks. You have to forgive us, but it's beyond me. It's beyond my mind. It's mind-boggling to me how we are expected to accept evil as justice and wonderful, and what used to be liberty and justice is to be thrown in the trash like garbage.
Right.
And
well, and look at that. You mentioned last week, that we had whenever that was, the shootout there in Agua Prieta, and south of the border and stuff. And any of the videos that were showing maybe somebody in a car dead, which I've seen on the news before.
Yeah.
They scrubbed all those from Facebook.
Oh yeah.
Even just hearing gunfire in the background, they took off the internet. Yet people will watch John Wick. I mean, I like John Wick movies. I mean, I'm just as, into that as anybody else. But don't sit there and tell me you're offended by what's really happening, on our border. And you can't watch that because of your precious baby eyes. But you can sit through John Wick or, name a 1,000 movies that have been out there. And these Puritans in Hollywood telling me what America should be when they produce such vile and garbage. And I've had people on my podcast, the Prepper Guy podcast is rated R. I do let an F-bomb fly more than I should.
Yeah.
And I've had people go, hey, I have a hard time listening to that. And it's like, and I feel sorry kind of for somebody, but it's like, we're kind of at war here. Mm-hmm. And so if you could put up with that from Howard Stern, who's #1 rated, or you could watch it in a movie, you'll get over it.
Exactly.
You're not going to die, because I'm so aggravated about an issue that I swear. Yeah. Because we need to be contentious. We need to get angry.
Yeah.
But nobody wants to. They just, it's just that self-righteous proclaim thing. And that's where Facebook is. It's like, oh, you can't watch that. You could watch this gay parade.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you can't watch, real things happening on our border, because it destroys their narrative.
Right.
There's no crisis at the border.
Right. Exactly.
When we live, 50 miles away from that.
Yeah.
Well, you do. I'm about 80, but still.
Yeah.
That's not that far away.
No.
And so I was curious to watch it. I had to, talk to my friends that live there that sent me some videos just to see what was going on.
Yeah. It's beyond me how, it's because they control everything. They have the power to control everything. And they will tell you what they want you to believe. And if you listen to somebody tell you something enough times, you begin to believe it and you begin to accept it as true. And I'm just, that's what's happened to America. And now we have a society where, oh my gosh, liberty and justice and freedom have taken a backseat to the romping in the streets oh man, it's disgusting, Mark.
I mean, we're probably just a few semantic words away from Sodom and Gomorrah in America. Not the average American, but what we're being seen as the narrative of who we are.
History repeats itself, bub.
Over and over. It's without fail. It's almost, I call it psychohistory, which was from a book by Isaac Asimov, where they could predict the future through mathematics. And he goes, you got this many people, you add this variable, this is how they will react. And so it may be called history repeats, or it's just mathematics and numbers, but they control the narrative, and they're shoving it down our throat.
Big time.
And I'm not happy with the taste of it myself, but hey, I'm one of them weirdos. I like freedom, liberty. I'm not a Bible thumper, but I'm a gun-toting Bible believer.
Me too. I'm a gun toter anyway.
Yeah.
And I believe in God. I do believe in God.
So,
and I do. I believe in the Word. I believe in God. I'm a God-fearing American.
Yeah.
And you'd have to be a fool to not be.
Right. And so they've made all those bad words. Everything. Yeah. You're a racist. You're a misogynist. You're one of them Christians, that hate Muslims. It's like
clinging to your guns and your religion.
Yeah. So they've got a hold of the narrative, and really, unfortunately, we the people once again are in control. If people start supporting smaller radio stations, even like KYAH, to where it helps them get a bigger transformer, to send out more transmitter and stuff, we could tune out. I like Facebook just to throw stuff out there. The same as when I go into the bathroom at a gas station, I read all the stuff on the wall. It doesn't change my life.
Like me, bud.
But that's kind of what Facebook and Twitter are to me.
Yeah.
But and you can throw out content and get good traction with it.
Well, sometimes you throw out something, you wake up the next day and you can't get on. That happens to me once in a while.
But if you keep it light enough, and you learn their triggers, because we all know, if you're married, regardless if your spouse is a husband or a wife, we know which buttons to push.
Yeah.
And we know which ones not to push.
Yeah.
And so we can use Facebook, but you look at the commercials on Fox News, they're still pretty pathetic. I mean, if it weren't for My Pillow, I don't think Fox would be on the air.
Yeah, My Pillow's good company, by the way.
Yeah. So, but then you go to these bigger companies, like, I guess not bigger in ratings, but just bigger names like, CNBC and all that, MSNBC or whoever they are. They got all the top, Mercedes and all that. So they're raking in the money. But if we stop listening to them and we call Mercedes and go, if I see your commercial on that kind of a show again, I'm never even going to drive one if it's rented to me.
They did that to Hannity.
Yeah. And we can do that game too. I mean, They did that to the Talk Radio Network. They did that to that's where Michael Savage, and that's where, a lot of the old talk shows that some of the bigger names out there, we won't go into them, but, and they boycotted their sponsorships, and that's what happened. Right. So why can't we do that? Because, I
don't know, but we're asking our listeners to go and support our sponsors.
That's right. And we're asking them to support KYAH.
And Contra Radio Network.
Yeah. Because that's the way we roll, buddy.
Hey, man, we are out of time. Look at that for the day. Man, it goes by so quick when you're having fun.
Yeah. Well, if any of our listeners would like us to talk about something else mindless and crazy, just send us a message on Podbeam there, a comment, or tell Mike at KYAH.
There you go. All right, listen, we're going to check out. We want to thank you for tuning in, and God only knows what lunacy is going to come this weekend, this next week. But in any case, we thank you for tuning in, and you all have a great day. Until next time, thanks for tuning in.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in. Catch them next time as they dig into the issues. The Two Crazy Guys. Log on to the website at www.contraradionetwork.com.